Good morning. It is the second weekend of Ohio whitetail season, and this weekend we're sitting on a piece of private property that I just started hunting last season. Got in here at about 6:30 this morning. There was one deer directly in front of me when I was coming in that bumped up, ran off, and as I started recording this video, just saw another one about 70 yards just hop over a log. So I think we're gonna have a pretty eventful morning. That's what it seems to be lining up to be, though. So we have our first official cold front of this season. It got down to 42 degrees where I'm at last night. When I rolled in here, it was 45. So these deer should definitely be on their feet. Out in front of me and a little off to my left, I have what looks to be a soybean field, I believe. That, or it's a wheat field. Can't tell right now, it's still kind of dark. This is my first time out here this year. I didn't do any scouting, don't have any cameras up. I took my stand down last year because I didn't know if I was coming back. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably know the stories of how I really screwed up last year and had 3 opportunities with deer and user error. So hopefully we can get some redemption here this year. So this is what I'm working with. So primarily, I'm looking right here. This is my good opening right in here. I've got a stump with a little bit of mineral on it. So see if those bucks want to come in and hit it. And we're just gonna sit tight and see what happens. Nothing happens today. I'm gonna probably come back tomorrow morning because it's supposed to be even colder. So we'll see what happens. Now, ideally when I'm sitting in this position, I'm gonna want an east wind, but right now I'm experiencing a west to northwest wind. I'm not too concerned with it just because of how faint it is, and it does swirl a little bit, but we'll see how that affects the deer movement, how it affects them coming in. I sit usually facing north, like northeast. From what I've noticed, all these deer come from the east, they move west. Occasionally I've had, the oddball that'll come from west to east, but predominantly in the mornings. Majority of activity is always from east to west. But this morning, we're getting a mostly west wind. Normally that's concerning for me, but I've noticed that it is such a faint wind that it's barely blowing that milkweed that I use as my wind indicator. Barely blowing it towards the east. And when the wind picks up a little bit and we get a little burst here and there, we're getting a predominant west wind, very faint. But the gusts are blowing it right back from the east. So I'm not too concerned about it. We'll see what happens if something comes in and if they catch my wind, but I'm feeling pretty confident about it. So I don't know what tomorrow's wind is looking like. I'm gonna have to check that here in a little bit. Maybe we won't have to come back out tomorrow. group of 5 doe that just came in. We had 1 yearling with them, and the rest of them were all super mature. The one in the back was huge. I don't know if I got her on camera. Man, so close. I just needed the one to walk in like 10 more yards, and I would have had a clear shot of her. Oh, man. All right. I like it. So it's about 11 o'clock now. I'm getting ready to pack up for the day. I got some stuff I gotta do at home, so figured I'd walk around this property a little bit before I leave, just to kind of see what kind of sign that I can find. And so far, I've been walking on this man-made trail here. This is a cut trail, and they came back and timbered all this. The deer are using it quite heavily. A lot of deer poop, and I just busted open an old scrape right down here. So, see if that gets hit. But it's looking good so far. A lot of acorns. Only thing that's different really from last year, the only 2 things that are different compared to last year is they cleared a lot more out of these woods, came through and cut down a bunch of trees and piled them up, which is kind of nice because it gives these deer a lot of ample places to bed up for the day. Which, to my surprise, when I was sitting over under that tree, I looked to my left, and lo and behold, I'm sitting right next to an actual active bedding area. Kind of led me to believe that maybe those doe that were coming in this morning were going to go there and bed, or in this area. So the second thing that's different from last year is this agricultural field that butts right up to this property. Last year, it was a huge soybean field, which the deer fed on a lot. This year, it's milo. So there were deer out there this morning in it, so they obviously like it. And with the acorns that are here, they are obviously eating those as well, because there's a lot of shelled acorns right by their poop. So yeah, I think this year, this spot has some pretty good potential. I'm going to take a look around, see if I can find some fresh rubs, any more scrapes or anything, other than the one that I just busted open. But I'm looking pretty optimistic about this spot. So, well, after scouting a little bit and getting a little feel for how these deer are moving, I decided to change things up for tomorrow morning when I come here. So I was originally sitting right here in this cluster, and I just felt like that was way too close to the trail that they're heavily using. I was literally 20 yards. I don't feel that comfortable being quite that close when I'm on the ground, just because of the margin of error, as you saw today. So I increased the distance by 10 yards. It's not much, but I feel a lot more comfortable. I came right over here and kind of cleared it out a bit. That way when I come in the morning, I'm not making a bunch of noise. And there wasn't much cover other than the foliage that was growing up from the ground, of like the little prickers and little saplings and stuff, which I had to take quite a bit out just so I could have a clear shooting lane. Right over to that maple and everything. So what I did, took the trimmings and everything from all the stuff that I had pulled out of the ground and whatnot, and were underneath the tree over there, and just made the kind of a half-ass blind, just something to kind of blend me in a little bit better. So we'll see how that works tomorrow. I think that'll definitely make a difference. Obviously it's not going to make a difference if the wind's bad, but sight-wise, I think it's going to be pretty good. I think if anything, they're just going to see my head bobbing up. And luckily for me, I love this jacket because it's nice and frilly, so at least give me a little bit of something to blend in with. So that'll be the game plan for tomorrow. We'll do another morning sit, see if we can knock one down. So I'll make my way back to the truck now and get loaded up and head on home. Well, I've had quite the eventful morning so far. It is currently 7:30. I got in here at 6:45. Had a little late morning, but I got in here and no sooner than 10 minutes, I had 3 doe come walking right there on that wood line. They ended up going off into the milo, but shortly after that, like maybe 5 minutes later, I had those 2 bucks come in. One was a shooter 8-pointer, and the other one was just a stupid little 4-point. And as I'm reviewing that video and texting some buddies, I look up, and literally 12 yards from me, that little, like, 4 or 6 point, I don't even know what he was, I didn't even think to count, was just staring at me. So, rookie move. But they're loving this cold front today. They're loving it. They're just coming in off this bedding in front of me. And this is awesome. So, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I didn't spook them out and discourage them from coming back. We'll see. It's still early. Only been here for literally half an hour, so I'm gonna get back to it. Due to the wind and how the wind has been blowing the past 2 days now, I had to make an adjustment as to where I'm sitting. I was originally sitting right over there in that corner, and I decided to move a little farther back into a nice big stick pile. It's a little bit farther back from where they're coming in, and that way when the wind blows, it's not blowing my scent directly to them unless they come from behind me. So I think we'll end up sticking at this spot from now on. I like it too, mainly for the reasons that I have more of almost a 180-degree view without me having to turn around. The chances of something coming in from behind me has been very, very slim. Not to say that it's impossible, but since I've hunted here last year, I've never had a deer come from that direction. The houses and everything are that direction, and everything in front of me is all open field and just wilderness. So I don't think they have a reason to be coming from that direction unless they're crossing the road. But if they do so, they use the tree line that's over here that runs directly up to the road. It's nice thick woods. They use it as bedding. So other than the 3 doe that came in from the left side of the field over here, the 3 bucks that I saw all came off of this little strip of woods over there that lead up to the road. My guess is, since we had a break in the rain, they must have gotten up from bed and they were heading out to their field here to feed. Just to give you an idea, so basically I can see from here field here. You see my mineral site right there. And all the way to that opening of the trail things right there. And as season goes on, and say I haven't harvested a buck yet, or I'm just having really crap luck with harvesting a deer in general, all the foliage obviously is going to fall. So once that happens, I'm going to have a clear view of that entire field. I'm going to have a clear view all the way over on that trail that they come in off of, and a clear view from on my left side. So everything will open up. That's another reason I picked this spot as well, is because I've got this big old pile of sticks and logs and just clutter, and that's one thing that's not going to change. As the leaves and everything fall, these are going to remain the same. I can dress to match this and use it to my advantage. I'm going to give it another hour or so. I've got to head back home again today to go spend time with the family. But so far today has been awesome. The past 2 days have been phenomenal. The 3 doe that came in this morning, they were well within bow range. I mean, they were literally maybe 15 yards. The only thing that stops me is that's technically the property line right there. I'm not going to shoot anything that's over the property line. They looked like they're going to be on the track to come in this way, but then they decided to change things up a bit and just keep walking that fence line. The moment one of them would have stepped over that fence line, it would have been game over. Yesterday, had those 5 doe come in. Wind swirled on me. They were 22 yards, but I couldn't have a clear shot on them. And then the first 2 bucks this morning, he was 33 yards, that shooter 8-pointer that came in. And he didn't present me with a shot. The little 4-point gave me so many opportunities, but I'm obviously not going to kill a young deer. And then a little surprise visitor I had when I was not paying attention and looked up, and he was 12 yards in front of me. Definitely could have shot him, but again, I'm not going to shoot a young deer that's 3 years old. So definitely has some really good potential in here. Next time I'm out here, I'm going to throw up a camera over my mineral site and just kind of monitor it throughout the season. And the property owner was informing me that there's a huge gnarly rug that's sitting back here. I didn't see it yesterday, but I'm gonna look for it today, see if I can find that. He said the rub is on a tree that's about 4 to 6 inches wide, and he said it's absolutely shredded on the bottom. He said it was an older one from probably back in like August, but he said it's big. I'll be curious to see what deer that is if he does continue to come in. So, but we're gonna sit this for a little bit longer, and maybe something will happen. Probably gonna give it about another hour before I have to head out. At that point, I'm probably gonna let this place cool down a bit for 2 weeks or so. Family and I leave this Thursday, even Thursday morning, head down to our cabin in West Virginia. Gonna be spending 4 days with a couple of my buddies, like I mentioned in the last video. Do some whitetail hunting down there in the mountains. I'm excited to pull the SD cards down there. I had a lot of doe on there last month, and it's been 3 weeks now since I've even checked the trail camp. So I'm curious to see what's running through those hills. But yeah, four of us total are going to be hunting down there. So it's going to be an exciting weekend coming up. I'm excited for only 3 days of work. That'll be nice easy week, hopefully. Well, I'm going to think it's going to be an easy week, but work's probably going to throw me a bunch of curveballs and make it a hard week for the 3 days that I am there. The following weekend, I'll probably head out here, so it'll be 2 weekends from now. Who knows? Maybe something will Maybe something will slip up. Alright, well, I'm gonna look for this rub. So, right there. That's home. That's what I'm dealing with right now. I was right in that corner, which I felt like I was way too exposed. So this at least gives me a little wall to my left. And then I got all that to my right. So, and then of course, I'm facing this way, looking right at their trail opening over there. And anything that walks down this line. There's our mineral site. Threw a little cracked corn and some whole cobs and some apples down there for him. Give him a little treat, try to entice him. It is Ohio, so I mean, you technically are allowed to bait. I'm just not going to go all gung-ho on it. 80% of the time when I see these deer, like we saw these bucks this morning, they're coming right down this trail. And then, as you can see behind me there, it's the trail that bumps right up against the field here, which the doe seem to really enjoy walking that. We got a lot of acorns on the ground. Oh, I do want to see the scrape I made yesterday. See if anything touched it at all. I made a sort of a tic-tac-toe shape on it so that I would know if anything were to mess with it. Okay, well, we'll check that out, but there's a small one right there. That wasn't there yesterday. It got busted open. Well, doesn't look much different. We did get hammered with some rain last night, so could have washed out their hoof prints and whatnot. It does look a little weathered. But we'll keep monitoring that as season goes on. Alright, so I think I see it over here. Wow. Yeah, they hit this last night hard. Got a corn cob here. Bunch of tracks near it. And I want to say it's this one. Yep. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. It's quite the rub. I mean, that's not a small. I mean, it's a small tree, but it's not what you typically see. All these tiny little 2-inch saplings that are just getting bent over. I mean, that thing got it. I'm glad to see that. Well, I'm probably not going to see this place, like I said, for another 2 weeks. Hopefully that gives it time to cool down a bit, kind of getting some consistent temperatures like it is today, and give these deer a chance to come in and check out that mineral site that I got going. Get a little snack on some corn. I'm excited now. I love this place. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's simple. The deer are tricky. Thank you guys for tuning in yet again. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. If not, I'm sorry. But yeah, like and subscribe. Check me out on Instagram, and we'll see you in the next one. West Virginia.